we can start with the second part of our training. Just for everybody, before then we start with the second part, just short reminder about our program and activities. Actually, today training is a part of our, so let's say, academy, transnational capacity building program for the innovation node that we are trying to set up in a different country in the Danube region. And it's dedicated mostly for people who are involved in the process of development, startups, acceleration, everything that then can help to pass in the next phase of our activity, which is mostly important, that we use knowledge and exchange knowledge from the previous period, let's say, to improve models and services that we are implemented in the regular work in the next period. Also, short reminder that this is second of the advanced training that we are realize as a part of that process. Previously, we have 9 trainings, and at the beginning of June, and a warm recommendation that for the next training, how to establish successful coaching and mentoring program that we will set up on the 12th of August, not under our organization of our team that we organize today, but for some other actors in this project. And yeah, this is it from the beginning. We decided first part of our training to be dedicated mostly for presentation of organizers and accelerators and initiative that they are support startups ecosystem in the regional Danube region. As our partner ABS from Austria and 2 Romanian partners, we are with the support of some example from Montenegro. We are try to present innovation ecosystem and to present operationalization of different programs that exist in our region. I will remind you that after all session, it's very welcome, questions, and probably, all presenters in the future, they will have a sensitiveness to answer on that question if there is need to make a shorter presentation, in the sense, because we believe that we will have very good interaction. And this part is dedicated for people who have experience passing through acceleration process and different program and so on. So we are set up some order that now we are start with experience of our colleague from Montenegro, Đuro Stojanovic from Uhara Solution. Ohara Solution, it's one of the most prominent startup in Montenegro that exists, very long history on development. They are passing different phase and different program from different country. Now, as I know, mostly it's a setup in Montenegro. They are in the distance between Podgorica and London. But definitely I'll give the space to Đuro to, let's say, present their own experience, to give us a little bit more information about Uhara Solution, and of course their personal experience passing through different program, and for everybody who go in that direction, to maybe to emphasize what is most important in all this process. Đuro, I hope so you are with us, and we can start your presentation. I will stop the sharing my screen and give you opportunity to start your presentation.
Thank you, Igor. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
Okay,
hear
great.
you. I don't
Great.
see you, but I can hear you. Ah, now.
Can you see me?
I have two dimensions. Okay.
Okay,
Go ahead.
okay, great. Thank you so much for the introduction. So what I would, in maybe next half an hour, I would go through the presentation with our experience with different accelerator programs, and maybe here like 10, 15 minutes for questions. Of course, if you have any time the question, please do not hesitate to interrupt me. A quick introduction from my side. So my background is computer science. I have PhD in digital signal processing from the Faculty of Electronics and Electric Engineering here in Podgorica. So most of the time I spend with technical people at university, mostly working on the scientific research, although I had different roles also in NGOs. So also there is some type of urge to do a little bit more than just pure science. And now a while ago, almost 10 years ago, my last position was with Crnogorski Telekom. That's an affiliate of Deutsche Telekom, a large German telecommunication operator. So when I left, I said that I'm done with corporation. I would like to work on some specific problem and trying to use the latest of the technology that was on the market to develop this solution. So with a couple of friends, started Hora Solutions, and for us, it was about how we can use artificial intelligence in automating processes for the enterprise segment. So what we are doing, so we are in the B2B enterprise market, meaning we are selling our solution to large enterprise clients, and this is mostly where my knowledge or experience is coming from. So for us, it was always the way how we're gonna build the company through external funding. So we've been looking for VCs, we've been looking for grants, and for us, although we are coming from Montenegro, the key idea is how we can make a global company. And this is now maybe the first question before I move to accelerators, maybe just to answer a couple of questions typically people will ask. Can you start a company in Balkan region? Yes, you can. However, if you want to stay only within the Balkan countries, you have a limited opportunities. Number one, to learn how this startup world is developing. Hard time fundraising, and maybe the most important, your vision is quite limited. So for us, it was always when we started how we can make a global company. And what for us, it was also that we don't know the whole game. So we knew a little bit, you can read these blogs, you can read different posts, but there is a quite limited knowledge that we have in this region. So for us, it was always that we want to learn, and for us, the way of learning was through incubator and accelerator programs. So what I would suggest for anyone starting a startup, it's not even here, like globally, if you can afford, meaning time, mostly time, I strongly suggest to go through accelerator program. Learn from other people who went through this whole process, and if it's possible, to try to go through global accelerator. Typically, you can apply even as a Montenegrin company, although in many cases, the way how it is built is that you will have a Montenegrin company, Serbian company, Croatian company, regional company, but also another that will be a holding company in the US or UK. Why is that? Because if you go through the UK accelerator program, most of them will ask you to be incorporated in the UK. Or if you go through the US accelerator program, they will ask you to be incorporated there. However, process of incorporation is 1 week. Cost can be very limited. So you could have a UK or US holding company, and you can have all developers in the region. So most of your activities in the region, but you can, with that, be eligible for any global program. And this is what everybody's doing. Like if you're talking about Poland, if you're talking about like South America, everybody's doing that. Having one holding company when you have a legal key legal entity, and then the key development centers all around the world. We started my experience with Accelerator started 2015. So let me just share the screen and maybe go through a couple of slides to show you some of my experience. So I will not talk a lot about the theory. I will talk about my personal experience. I'm pretty sure that with other mentors, we can go much more into details about organizing accelerator programs. However, I will present it as from the view of someone who went through a couple of these programs. So let me check. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. So the first accelerator program was in Bulgaria. So the first time when we met an investor who ran an accelerator program was 2015. Actually, that was the time that we first met, and we met on one startup conference. On one startup conference, we've been talking to some investors, and one of them was 11 fund from Bulgaria, from Sofia, and this is our first touch with accelerator program. So this was a Bulgarian accelerator program, and they were funding early stage companies with the tickets from 20 to 100K. So for 20,000 euros to 100,000 euros. Typically, the way how it is structured is that you will give 5% of the company for 20K, and later on for additional up to 100K, you will give additional percentage. So when you talk about accelerators, the accelerators who are asking for the percentage of your company, so it's equity requirement, but also you have accelerators that are based on grants. So they will give you a grant, and you don't need to give equity. There is always a trade-off. Quite frankly, I prefer accelerator programs that request some equity from your side. Why is that? Because in that case, you know that they are serious, and also you are serious. So if you're giving percentage of your company, you will really take care about to which accelerator you're applying, and also what you're doing there. In this case, and this is one of the typical example, it was on-site program, meaning we spent 3 months in Sofia, in Bulgaria, and we had the program there. What is the program? You will start. So you will typically when you're talking about these accelerator programs, there will be a big co-working space where all teams will work. Typically in almost every accelerator that I went was a selection process. So you will have first calls. In most of the time, you will have also the latest interviews would be on site. So in this case, it was in Sofia, and they would select typically 10 companies for the program. So each batch, more or less, if it's equity-based, typically that will be 10 companies that will be selected, 10 companies that will work together in the same workspace. So when we're talking about early stage accelerators, that's companies who, number one, either have a bit more than an idea. So in some cases, you have accelerators they will accept you only with idea. In a lot of cases, you will need to have something. You will need to have some prototype, some minimum viable product, something that you can show, and you can work next 3 months on developing this product. And typically in accelerator programs, they will never teach you about technology. So they are considering that you are an expert programmer, an expert engineer in that oblast, in that specific field, and there is no need for them to have specific training for you for programming. What they typically say is that most of the founders have a problem with the business side, how to run business. So you will have specific sessions, you will have specific training about, for example, finance, for how to prepare your business plan, how to do accounting, how, for example, to prepare all legal documents necessary for your for your company. When you're raising, how to prepare specific documents. For example, how to prepare cap table. Cap table is a document where you have, for example, all founders or all shareholders. So this is something that is important in the process of fundraising when you're presenting your company. How to prepare investor pitch. So how to prepare a presentation, but also how to pitch to your investors. Then how to prepare options. Options, for example, is in many cases when you hire people in your company, you will give them some percentage of the company, especially with the early employees. And typically, case how it's done, it is called 4-year vesting, meaning that you will, for example, for the lead engineer, you will give them 1% of the company for the next 4 years, meaning that every year they will get 1/4 of that. So, for example, 0.25%. So if someone stays for 4 years, they will vest the whole 1% of the company. If they stay only 1 year, they will vest only 1/4 of that. So 0.25. Investing, for example, you have also cliff. Cliff is that everything, so someone need to stay with the company for at least 1 year to vest anything. So if someone leave in the first year, they will not get any shares, and after that, they will get, they call it monthly vesting. Every month, they're getting proportionally part of the vesting. So, for example, in the startup world, that's extremely important because in many cases, you cannot compete with a large enterprise. A lot of times, you cannot offer salaries similar to large enterprise. So you are giving them some percentage of the company. In our case, this is the first time in for example, 11 Accelerator that we learn about this percentage. For example, the most that you will give, for example, if you bring extremely senior person, that will be around 2 to 4% of the company. So typically for a very experienced, it will be around 2% of the company, and everybody will get, for example, then after that, 1%, 0.5%, and something like that. So the percentage that you are giving to your employees, it's not large, but you have, it is called option pool. But if you have 10 or 20 people, like if you give to each of them, like this aggregate number just coming up. So in our case, we started from very early. We are, for example, awarding our employees who are staying with us, especially senior employees, we are awarding with the option pool. And the first time that we actually learned was in Accelerator program. The second part of the Accelerator program is also extremely important, and trying also to share some of my experience, is what an investor is expecting from you. So we all know the stories that we are, like when startup is raising, they're asking for 1 million, 5 million, 10 million, 100 million, whatever amount it is. And we all think that if you have a great product, that you will be financed. The problem here is that it is not true. Actually, from the VC side, there are completely different expectations. In this case, expectation from the VCs, for example, that was in 11 Accelerator that we first time heard about this concept, is that every fund, for example, if the fund has 50 million and they're investing 1 million in each company, so they will have, and the fund, typically fund will invest for first 3 years, 3 to 5 years. If they invest 1 million in 50 companies, so they're expecting out of these 50 companies, 40 of them to be unsuccessful. So they're expecting to lose out of 50 million, 40 million. However, out of these 10, there should be 6 or 7 that will be break even. They will come, when they sell, they will sell for exactly or more or less the same price as they invested. So if they invest 1 million, they will get 1 million back, and there will be only 1 or 2 that will sell for example, 50 to 100 million. So what they said in startup world, investors are looking for the big ideas. And out of these 50 companies, they are looking for each of these companies, can they have opportunity to be as big, to give back the whole value of the fund, for example, this 50 million, plus on top of that something, 20, 30, 50%. So this is the key idea with the VCs. So for them, it's not about like, is this a good business? It's always, is this a business that can be global, to be huge? And this is the way how we should pitch. When you pitch, you always, for example, you will hear Americans, they're always keeping this line like, we are revolutionizing the world of finance, something like that. So it's always a big idea. It's always a big thing. So for us, that was extremely helpful learning that side of what is there from the VC side. And I'll talk a little bit later also about this, what VCs are expecting for us. For us, this was extremely important. 3 months after that, another program that we went, and it was also quite interesting for us. It was a little bit different one. This was a huge thing, accelerator. So this is just to have an idea about different possibilities. This case was a grant based. So you will also participate 3 months, but they will not request any equity from you. You will go through the, for example, you will get 40Ks as a, in this case, it was an EU grant. What is there for the organizer? The key idea here is that they will actually increase the knowledge. They will bring in this case, we also went to Poland. We spent 3 months there. Idea would be they will bring the best talents from typically that was Central and Eastern and Southeast Europe, bring to Warsaw, and with that they will help an ecosystem. Very similar program to the one that we had in Bulgaria, and also these two programs were maybe a preparation for maybe the most important program that we went. That was the Barclays Tech Stack Accelerator. There, when we talk about accelerator programs, there may be couple of programs on a global level. They are famous. So maybe the most famous one is Y Combinator. That's in San Francisco program. And after that, maybe the second one is Techstars program. Techstars program is in somewhere like 30 different cities all around the world. And this program was, again, equity-based. But you will get, for the Techstars program, you will get for the 7% of the company, they will give you 120K investment. So typically, this is the way how they're funding startups. And again, it's a 3 months program. In this case, it was in Israel, in Tel Aviv. So we spent the summer in Israel, and this accelerator program is consisting of 3 different phases. Phase number 1 is extremely focus on building your key product and key company elements through mentorship. Even they call it mentor madness. You have a couple of weeks when you have each day, for example, 10 meetings with 10 mentors. Each of these meetings will be 15 minutes. And these mentors will be, for example, investors, even technical leads, business leaders. So you will talk 15 minutes about your company and talk to them, what they think, what are their suggestions on how they can help you. So this mentor madness meaning that you will, in a couple of weeks, you will talk to most probably more than 100 people. And when you have so many different people talking to you, you're getting so many different ideas. So all of us, when you're alone with yourself, in this case, it's sometimes you keep thinking about the same thing, trying to solve the same issues. When you have these other people, experienced people talking to you, you're getting all new range of ideas. For example, when we talk to one of the investors, we ask, okay, if you want to raise 1 million round, what is typical that you're looking from the startup? So we didn't it wasn't in the raising phase. We just asked him, and he listed, what is important. For example, if it's a B2B enterprise, you will need to have a couple of big logos. If it's in financials, there should be banks. So you need to have a product, a working product. You need to have attraction. You need to show that quarter by quarter you are growing significantly. So talking to them, I still, quite frankly, the lesson that I learned a long time ago, talking to him, more or less was the same whenever we raised. It was very similar question that we've been asked. So this mentor madness, for example, from Tech Accelerator program, was something that I can remember. The second part is that then you will, in the second month, you will work on your preparation for fundraising, you work on your financial deck, you work on investor deck, and the third month you will work on your pitch. So we, for example, in Techstars, we spend 1 month, full month, working with an actress who help us about our stage performance. So when we on stage, the way how we should present, the way how we should walk, the way how we should talk. And also we've been working with a speech writer who was working with the, for example, with the UN on writing speeches for the UN representative, who would go through our presentation and through our pitch deck. And we will together practice this, how to pitch. So the key idea would be when you're on a big stage to know how to present your idea, to be very clear in the messaging. And a lot of us are coming from technical backgrounds, so like having engineers pitching. Most of us are not so much native to the big stage, native to the big public. So the goal there was to, if it's possible, to have the best possible pitch. And also we'll then practice, for example, an elevator pitch, like how to talk to investor or anyone else in like 30 seconds. So how to pitch if you have 1 minute, how to pitch if you have 3 minutes. Idea would be at the end of the program, whenever you're in position to present your company and your product, depending on the time you have, that you already know what you will say. So if I have 30 seconds, what I will emphasize. If I have more, so to be ready for any possible situation. At the end, Barclays would organize, and it was similar, for example, with huge things, similar to the 11 accelerator, it will organize a demo day. So it means that all companies, again, in this case was 10 of them, will present on the big stage, and you will have a lot of investors or potential clients in the public who will listen, and then you could have a communication about them, about possible investment or similar. So these 3 accelerators help us a lot. For example, when we fundraise, if you are part of the Techstars accelerator, there is a huge plus. Why? Because Techstars typically has 2% acceptance rate. So in our case, these 10 companies were on the very beginning, that was 500 companies applying for this program. So it's with accelerator, especially if you go through better accelerator, it's also giving you some weight when you're talking to investors. Another interesting, they call it accelerator, but it's a little bit different. These are programs that typically when you work with specific partner. In this case, you will spend some time. And one example is Plug and Play program in Germany. This was a fintech program, and for them the key idea is not so much to go through this training about your pitch or training about your financial deck. He was to help you with the clients. So for Plug and Play Germany, the program was in Frankfurt, and in this case it is not on site. So with all previous program, you should spend 3 months on site. In this type of program, you will go, for example, every second week for a couple of days, or every month for 5 days. And the goal would be to connect you with potential clients. In this case, for Plug and Play, it was in Frankfurt. It was with big German banks. And the goal of that program was to introduce startups to big companies, and similar, to introduce big companies to start. What is this? This is an advantage if you have developed product that you can already sell. So if you're a bit earlier, yes, they can help, but it's not that much. Here you have a product, now you need clients, and this type of program can help. Typically, you will have also training session about how to sell. In our case, since we are enterprise, in enterprise sales, for us, Plug and Play was interesting because we've been talking to the large banks, large financial institutions. Another program was Raiffeisen Lab. In this case, this was specific program of the Raiffeisen Bank in Austria. So for them, they organize a competition, and the best 10 startups from that competition been part of the elevator lab. Here again, the key idea was to connect with different departments from Raiffeisen, so you can present your use case, what you're doing, and to have a pilot with one of these departments. So you will then spend a couple of months working with specific department, developing your pilot with them. So you are getting typically they will give you some money also, but it's very little, like 5 to 10K, more like to cover your cost there. But the key idea is that you will have a mentor or champion from the company who would help you to develop a POC and later on potentially implement your solution in the company. Again, this is more on the sales side, but also very, very helpful. Similar program was in the UK. We've been part of NatWest Accelerator. For them, it's also interesting that not only it's about connecting with the different departments from NatWest. NatWest is one of the largest bank there, but also they are focusing on co-working community. So if you're part of this accelerator, there is a co-working space in NatWest, one of the NatWest buildings, but you could have your office. You can then be there with other startup, especially from the fintech field, and you can talk to them, exchange your experience, and they would organize not so often, maybe once per week, some event in this co-working space. And for the NatWest, for example, in a way, it's a lifelong program, meaning once if you're in part of this community, you can jump into this co-working space more or less whenever you want. You are part of this of their community. Similar program was also we participated in Pinsent Mason. That's a legal tech program in the UK. Similar, this is since we're an enterprise segment, for us this was interesting. Pinsent Mason is one of the largest law firm in the UK, and for them it was way again how to connect with the company from the space that they're interested in. So this is a list of the programs. This is a list of the accelerators that we participated. Maybe just as a conclusion, we can divide into two groups. One is accelerator programs when you are participating on the full base, for example, 3 months. The second one would be partnership programs when you go and mostly talk to your potential clients. So in case of these 3 months programs, quite intensive. Most of the time you will need to be there like from 8 till 4, and almost every day something will happen. In this partnership, it will be once per, like every second week or a couple of meetings in a month, less intensive, but again, with the goal of connecting with the companies. For us, if we haven't been part of this accelerator, quite frankly, there is no way that we will learn about the whole, like from the fundraising, for the way how we should pitch, how we should prepare our documents. Extremely hard, and it's not only for the region of Western Balkans, it's also globally. Like, so since our company is incorporated in London, and many times I see also in the Great Britain, there are so many people would like to do startups, would like to go through this path, but all of us know very little when we are starting. And accelerators, for me, from my perspective, is an amazing way to bring knowledge, to give you a head start in the whole journey. So I will stop now. Maybe we have like 10 minutes if you have specific questions, if you are some learnings from the accelerator or some specific accelerator you are thinking of applying. So I'm here to answer any of your questions.
Exciting journey, Joro. So thank you very much for the presentation. I will ask maybe audience first to ask question. I have one, but if there is someone who wants to be more curious about some elements.
Well, I'll ask a question just because there were so many accelerators on your journey, and it's a wonderful story. But I just want to say, was there any pressure, like in the whole process, to make money? Did you actually make money, like in between? Have you had like already contracts with the banks, or did you just expand and apply to different accelerators and they recognize your growth and things like that? Was there any pressure on you to like achieve the whole of this journey until you start becoming commercial?
Typically, you will for all of these accelerators, their expectation are that you have a working prototype or some POCs. So in the very beginning, there is no pressure that you will have clients, but you need to have some type of validation. And at the end of the program, they are thinking like, 3 months. It's not a huge time to build a client base, but you should show a progress. There should be something. It's always how they say, like, nothing will happen until someone sells something. So this is great. We are talking about innovation, but from the innovation to business, there is a huge gap. Or so what they will call it, like, you need a product market fit. So what you're building, there is a need for the market. Maybe this is a good opportunity. I mentioned this about one of the extremely important concepts for fundraising was a concept of peeling an onion. So what does it mean? It means that investors are de-risking their investment in the way they're always thinking about what are the risks that we are dealing. The first risk is the risk of the team. When they're talking to you, they will say, okay, is this a good team? For how long they do know each other? Did they work previously? So if it's completely new company, if you met your founder like 2 days ago, you have a huge risk of the team that, like, after 6 months, you will just, you will split and go in different directions. So that's risk of the team. The second risk is, for example, the risk of the product. Can you make this product? Do you have a knowledge? The third one, maybe you can make. Can you sell it? Oh, actually, it is even before that. Does anyone want to use it? Oh, it's a great product. You like it. Your friends like it, but other people. Then the fourth one, okay, they're using. Would they pay for it, or they would like just use it? So the more you show on this, you are de-risking that investment. So at the end, they will say, okay, great team. They have a product. They have users. They are paying users. So the more you can show, the easiest would be, like, to go and, for example, this is what we learn in Bulgaria. This is like a concept, like, how they're approaching. When you fundraise, if you have, for example, as a part of the Techstars, for example, we got our investors at Techstars and Barclays, there wouldn't be so much pressure to sell, but expectations. Guys, it's 3 months. Now it's, now it's time to shine. Okay, show us what you learned.
All right, thanks.
Somebody else, thank you. Until we are waiting, I will ask you, because I know you start 2015, and in that period there was almost nothing in Montenegro in the sense of support. So you try to find a way how to develop and how to be support outside of Montenegro. Your message, because you passed through several, as you mentioned, acceleration program and partnership program, your message is like no one-stop shop, or what can be like, I don't know, can we do something, I don't know, in a different country, in this region, to bring more support in the sense of the, I don't know, mentoring and on the small market is a small opportunity that we see coming in that kind of region because it's small opportunity. But this is like two question. Is it that will be easy, that exists something? Is it possible to do something more serious? And is it possible to realize everything through one accelerator, or you need to go through different one because it's different things, different learning, different opportunity, and different kind of support?
Again, this is my experience. I could be completely wrong, but the way how I think is that if you want to do a
your
startup,
opinion,
yeah. If you want to do a startup, you should be 100% dedicated. What does it mean? And you should acknowledge that you don't know a lot. Whatever background is, like, you can be CEO of I don't know what kind of company, but your knowledge is quite limited. So the more you go through the programs, whatever programs, it can be an incubator, whatever it is, you are learning. Yes, you're spending some time. It will be great to be with your family, to be with your friends, like it's the summertime. But if you dedicated to that path, my suggestion would be to go as many accelerators as you can. As many as you can in different countries. Now, with that, you will learn a lot. However, when we started, for example, in Bulgaria was the closest one. So all started from Serbia, Croatia, Montenegro. We went to this Bulgarian one. Actually, there were two in Bulgaria. So there are two in Bulgaria and then nothing in Hungary, nothing in Romania, in Greece. So that was the only one. And in this case, the entry ticket was 20K. Right now, I'm pretty sure, for example, in Serbia or even in Montenegro, or in Bosnia, in Croatia, you have these grant programs that they give you 20K, and that's a great way to start. So what I would suggest, for these early tickets, like 20K, you get a local grant. You go to local program. You start learning. Even before that, you have some incubator programs, like small programs, but you start learning. And the point is that you will never, quite frankly, you never stop learning. It is like that. So you go first for incubator, then, for example, 20K grants. Then if it's possible, even better, like 100K grants or some accelerator. So step by step. And I'm pretty sure that it is a big world. So there are opportunity for different accelerators. So I don't believe there is one who will rule all of them. Like the more we have locally, let me give an example. There is no difference between a founder from the skill set from Western Balkan region than from the Silicon Valley. Top 1% from each university is exactly the same knowledge as a top 1% from Stanford, for example. However, they in Stanford, they have 1 million opportunities to meet accelerator programs, investors. If you invest in Balkan, you have 0.1% opportunity what they have. So what we need to do, we need to open these opportunities to everyone. So if you have opportunity to present your idea, to talk to mentors, to get some initial funding, then you could start building your company. It's extremely hard to do it alone. So we did this, and I tell you, it's extremely hard. Like we need to go to Poland. So Bulgaria was the closest. The second was Poland. Nothing in between. The third one was Israel.
I understood completely. There is any other, we have just 2 minutes, or we can say thank you to Juro.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you all. I hope it was an interesting story.
We already today heard from our partners also opportunity from Austria, for Romania. Now it's a much different picture around Montenegro, of course. But after you, we will also hear the experience in different stage actors that pass through some acceleration program, because this part is dedicated for that. Thank you very much, and thank you for sharing your experience.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yes, thank you so much, Juro. I really enjoyed the presentation. I thought it was super insightful, and I think there's a lot to learn for startups and also to give them from your experience to share. So thank you a lot. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Yes.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we are now passing through another experienced guy. It's Mikhail Dimitru. They are passing spin-off journey through Innovation Lab in Romania. As I discovered, FAUR, as I understood in Romanian, or building AI in English, as I make me correct if I may. I hope so that I am correct in the translation. Michael, it's a research and engineer. It's a PhD student in the Deon, and one of the main research and engineer in the Deon startup. They have very serious CEO. And actually, probably they will explain a little bit at the beginning about their own business. It's a business that simplify adaptation of generative AI by businesses, offering cost-effective and privacy-focused solution. But probably we'll hear more from them. So, Mikhail, if you are there, show us, and you have opportunity to share the screen and have your presentation.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yeah, I have some
Thank you for your
slides.
time.
Thank you for inviting me. Sorry, I'm trying to minimize this. Okay. Yeah, so I was already introduced. I am Mihai, and I am here today to represent our startup, Fower.ai. Fower is indeed an old-fashioned Romanian word that means builder, and we focus on efficient AI deployments. I tried to structure the presentation less as a pitch for our startup and more to focus on the structure of the incubator program of innovation labs, and particularly on our experience towards it and how it helped us develop our ideas.
Exactly. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I'll start with who we are. The team. We are the 7 co-founders of Fower, and me and Vlad Badoiu here at the bottom left. We are PhD students at the Polytechnica University of Bucharest. Our research was not initially focused on AI specifically. I have a computer networking background, and Vlad was working with operating systems with a focus on formal verification, safety, and security. And Costin Raiciu is our scientific advisor. But the catalyst of our startup, the person who started it, is our CEO, Alexandru Agache, who finished his PhD at the same university a decade ago in the same lab. He then went on to work in the industry. He worked at Amazon Romania. He was a tech leader at AWS and one of the makers of the Firecracker solution. After that, he had some more ventures with startups from where he learned more about the startup world. And I think he also got this desire to do something that was more independent and business focused. So 2 years ago, he returned to our university, to our research group. It was around the time when ChatGPT was released, the initial version, and it was very impressive. People were seeing a new world of possibilities and opportunities that could be brought on by generative AI. And Alex also thought that we have a real opportunity to do something here, because new AI models are very big, resource intensive, and that means they need a lot of compute. They run on distributed systems that need to communicate with each other through networking. So our idea was to attack this new opportunity of the generative AI world from a systems programming perspective, to see what can be done at an operating system level, at a networking level. There's an entire stack that goes from the high-level decisions of which models to choose and what hyperparameters to train models and how to run them, all the way down to the hardware. And especially because Costin is a world-class networking researcher, this is where we started looking at. Costin previously had a startup. It was called Correct Networks and was focused on formal verification of networking setups. They got bought by Broadcom, which is where Costin works now. And there he also saw the business side of the real demand for improved networkings by all the big players like Google and OpenAI and Alibaba, who need a lot of nodes that communicate fast in order to support generative AI. So That is how our team got together. From a research perspective, we tried to look at the systems programming part of what is needed to support the new wave of generative AI applications. Cosmin later joined. He worked as an engineer at Amazon, at British Petroleum, at Bolt. But Alex Gheorghescu, he was our first really machine learning guy. He is now in Tokyo waiting to begin his master's in machine learning in autumn. He works with us remotely, and he is like the one of us who is specialized specifically on AI and machine learning from a theoretical point of view. And in the middle of Innovation Labs, we also recruited Tiberiu as our business guy. I'll get back to this idea multiple times. It's a recurrent part of our Innovation Labs experience. But basically, we were all of us very technical, and we were working on the technical part of the startup, the 6 of us who initially joined the incubator. And we soon found out that our business side is lacking and underwhelming. But luckily, we found Tiberiu, who has an MBA from the University of Austin in Texas. He worked at McKinsey and then worked for several years as regional manager in various locations, including factories where he had hundreds of employees. So he is our missing link to really do not just the technical part of what it means to have a startup, but also the business part. Right. So as I said, our beginnings were in research. And in order to really understand what is needed for generative AI solutions, what these big companies need in order to train and to run their models, we decided that the best way to do that is to replicate the process by ourselves, gather our own data sets, train our own models from scratch. Of course, at a smaller scale, because we didn't have access to hundreds and hundreds of GPUs. But some of our best results are that we've managed to gather the largest public data set for Romanian language pre-training. This is mostly curated web pages and other documents that are available online that we've collected and cleaned up and applied all these state-of-the-art filters that take you from a raw data set of raw documents, let's say, to a set of data that is fitting to train a large language model that knows the language itself. So the result of training a model, we trained our own 3 billion parameters model and obtained something that can predict the next token in a sentence. So this is the basics of LLMs. You give it a prompt, beginning of a sentence or a paragraph, and it can continue it from there with plausible sounding words and phrases that should be grammatically correct and coherent. Our model has 3 billion parameters, which is considered small by today's standards. We trained it over a period of around a month, 26 days, and we had the support of the European High Performance Computing Consortium, which granted us a project that allowed us several thousand hours of for both data preprocessing and the training itself, access to the hardware that is needed, graphic cards that are strong enough to train the model and to eat this data set. And we managed to do our own training framework that was more efficient than the off-the-shelf solutions, such as the Hugging Face transformer. Both this, the dataset and the model, are publicly available. We published everything. The models are open weights. We have technical reports available on Arxiv, and we are awaiting now for a journal submission. And once you have a foundational model, you can then do many things with it. For example, we specialized it for English to Romanian translation and obtained quite decent results that are comparable to models that are even 4 times the size of the one that we trained. So we can do English to Romanian translation faster and using less memory, so on cheaper hardware. We also have trained it for text summarization and have some other experiments, including for retraining models for code generation. But the takeaways from here, this is that we learned what it actually means to train models, to run models, how the landscape looks like, and we arrived at several conclusions which form the problem statement for which we tried to develop the solution. And I summarize it here as the fact that AI is not yet ready for mass adoption. That is because the infrastructure needed to train and run these models has huge monetary and energy costs. And optimizing AI is a deeply technical and resource-intensive process that requires a lot of expertise, not only in theoretical machine learning, but also systems knowledge, what libraries you need, how to combine them. You need to know the operating system, the networking stack, all of that. And so it's hard to find the right setup that balances performance, availability, privacy, and cost. And so we believe that this is the opportunity for us to do something, which leads us to our product, our startup, which is to develop a platform that can automatically deploy and train models with zero expertise required from the part of the user. So we have something now that is at the stage of an MVP. We use it for proof of concepts with our potential clients. Currently, I've added a screenshot here. The elements exactly are not important. I'll not explain everything, but the main point is that even using a model, so taking an open weights model of the internet and trying to run it is a non-trivial task. Especially if you want to do it efficient, if you don't want to use very expensive hardware. And our platform, first and foremost, would help you run off-the-shelf models, open weights models trained by others, such as Meta, Google, Alibaba, everyone who posts their own trained models. And you can run this automatically through our platform without having expertise. For example, we have a working flow that allows you to visually describe how your application looks like by placing essential boxes such as image processing boxes, person re-identification models, and drawing lines between these components. And we are also polishing a chat assistant that allows you to specify high-level requirements of your application. For example, in this screenshot, we are telling the chat model that we're trying to develop a chatbot for customer Q&A. And then our deployment virtual assistant takes you through a list of high-level questions about your requirements. And in the background, it synthesizes these into low-level details that are then used to automatically create a new deployment. This is the essence of our platform. But of course, this has been developed in the last few months. When we joined Innovation Labs, we had already a year and a half of experience as a team doing the research that I mentioned. And we were thinking of going towards a startup. To make a startup, we had this idea of what we want of a platform that allows easier deployment, but it was nothing very concrete. And Innovation Labs, first and foremost, helped us by offering a structure with milestones and deadlines, We knew that there's a starting date at which we have a pitch. There's a demo the second day where we have to show at least mock-ups of our platform working. And then there were, throughout the incubator, we had to produce various deliverables. I'll come back to them later. Our business plan, our market analysis, our competitive analysis. And so having precise deadlines helped us really crystallize both our idea and our team and helped us learn to work together. Otherwise, we would have probably, without innovation labs and without these motivations, we would have probably spent more and more time discussing about the idea, trying to do more research before we do the business part and before we try to make a concrete product. And I think the most important aspect of innovation labs were the people. So we got a lot of help, suggestions, and constructive criticisms from the many sessions that occurred along the way, from the organizers and other members of the juries. I'm sorry if I forgot to write their names here. There are also a lot of mentoring sessions, meetings where we got to meet people that had different roles in real life companies in Romania and not only. And these were people from across the board. They were tech leaders, software engineers, CTOs, CEOs, product managers, project managers. So we got to hear from people who had real world technical experience and could drive us to know what companies who want to implement their own AI solutions would want from us, from our platform. And we also met the business people who gave us their perspective, told us what they would be interested in looking for when buying solutions, told us how, gave us advice on how to structure our own ideas internally, what to look for, and how to sell our platform. And we would like to extend a special thanks to our team mentor throughout the program, Răzvan Crăciunescu, who was with us along the way and also helped us with networking, helped us meet new people. He told us about this event particularly. And I think networking was a very, very big aspect of the Innovation Labs program. Here we met a lot of not only mentors, but also partners, and we hope future clients. The structure of Innovation Labs starts with a pitch, a 2-minute pitch in front of everyone, and then a hackathon that extends until the second day, where you need to do a demo of the product that you've developed during the last, I don't know, I think around 12 hours. And also another longer pitch, hopefully more refined than in the previous day. And this is where we first learned that our idea is not very clear to other people. A team that came back to haunt us many times during the Innovation Labs. We had other pitch sessions, and very often after our pitch, we would hear questions from the audience that were to the extent of, okay, but what are you actually doing? So this helped us a lot to reflect on how to present things, on what is the general background in regards to generative AI and the infrastructure needed to run it. And also related is the fact that here is where we noticed from the first day that we were okay on the tech side. Our technical demo was more than we had set out to do. But we lacked any business experience, and we were asked about various business aspects of our startup. What is our subscription model? How do we envision our go-to-market strategy? and we didn't have precise answers for this, and this is what Innovation Labs helped us finally achieve. And in the first day, there's a poster session in which we drew our own posters to attract people to vote for our idea after hearing the pitch and having a talk to us. And that is where we met a representative of Arctic Stream, which is a Romanian systems integrator who is currently one of our partners. And this, ever since we met at Innovation Labs, we've continued our partnership and discussion, and we hope soon to turn this into having clients. Also, Innovation Labs had in its track a lot of deliverables. We had to develop artifacts that helped us organize our business thinking. Even before Innovation Labs, we indeed knew that we need a business plan, we need to perform competitive analysis, we need a feature list, we need to talk to actual people from the real world to find out what their need is. So we ran interviews, but we did this all in an ad hoc, improvised fashion. And Innovation Labs helped us to systemize these things, providing us with templates and a structure of how to go about, for example, interviews, to make a plan, to have some questions written in advance, and to have like a standard way of expressing these ideas, because we were not very well educated on the subject on how to write a business plan, how to structure a competitive analysis. Along the way, we assisted to many sessions, many presentations from leading people in the industry, from investors, from we had meetings with our mentors. In the last day, there was an event in which we all had a booth to present our startup. That's what motivated us to finally put together some branded merch. We had t-shirts made, posters, and business cards. And luckily, we had whom to give them, because we met here a lot of potential partners, clients, and investors. This happened at the end of May. And since then, we have been in close contact with some of the people we met. And at the end, we won the Best Product Award, which gave us motivation. So besides all the things that we actually learned from Innovation Labs and the people that we met and the networking and connections we made, this helped us with a boost of confidence. It's something that we know we have achieved. This is us on the stage receiving the Best Product Award. That's all. Thank you. That's my presentation. And now I'll leave time for questions.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I give the floor for others first to ask some question. First, there is someone, or I have something to ask you, like if there is no one, like okay, you precisely explain your product, but tell me, according your experience and at the moment your feeling, are you expect through some different acceleration program or some partnership program to get more knowledge that there's something that missing you, and you explain what you get from that program, but now are you ready for the market, because you work a lot prior the acceleration program by own way, almost 1.5 years, as you say, but from the previous presentation we see that guys, they are changing different acceleration program in the sense to get, let's say, more knowledge for specific issue, especially for business, attracting the clients, etc., etc. and what is your vision in the future? Because it's as I understood, you passed this acceleration program this year, so in front of you it's some journey.
Yes.
Tell us more about what is your vision on for the future journey.
So just last week we met with one of our mentors from Innovation Labs who instructed us. He gave us homework to find a list of events, of business events and startup events that are happening in the next several months, let's say, in Bucharest. And we would like to go to more of these events to have our chance to set up a booth, present our startup, meet more people who are interested in. In the meantime, we have a list of potential clients. We have people with whom we have periodical meetings, and we present them demos and proof of concept. They tell us what they would like, that they give us incremental feedback on our POCs, and we hope that by September, at least one of these will turn into an actual contract. By now, everything is just we show them a demo. They say it's nice. They ask us more specific questions if we can estimate the costs precisely, and then we go back to work on that part. And as for funding, we are lucky that Costin had some resources, and for the first year we hope to be covered without needing seed funding round. So we hope to last at least 1 year without necessarily an extra funds, and then go for a Series A funding round.
Okay, this is good. There is anyone to ask something? Okay. Thank you, Mihai, very much for your time. I wish you success on your journey, and
Thank you.
I hope so that you will, make a good product and a lot of new things in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you to everyone else here. Thanks.
Okay, I think it's very important to have different experience passing through acceleration program. Next on our list, it's Mr. Florian Schreck. It's difficult to pronounce. Experience and insight from the Accent incubator. Florian, it's also it's a project manager in the program. And Accent is a high-tech incubator of the province of Lower Austria, and one of the important point to support future businesses, and they will give us more an insight in overview of work of Accent incubator. So. I hope so that Florian, you're ready and you will share your presentation. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for inviting me. I just click into the system and I'll open the presentation in a second for you.
Yeah, cool.
Does it work?
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you.
Why do I not see it? Okay.
Yeah, no, you don't see, or you don't see yourself. This is sometimes difficult to follow. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So this is our presentation. So I was asked to present a little bit how do we work as a startup incubator, and I prepared some 20 slides now with our basic functioning and the offer of what we're doing. And if there is some time left, I will talk a little bit about some case studies, examples that are there that were very successful in the past, which I like to highlight as well. So it's a bit depending on how fast we get through. Of course, if there's questions, you can ask me questions. Otherwise, I'll just start with that presentation. Okay?
Thank you.
So Accent Incubator, as mentioned already, is the incubator of the government of Lower Austria, which is the region surrounding Vienna. So it's a federal state of Austria. It's actually the biggest. We are a startup incubator focusing on technology startups, funded by the government, of course. And we are there to make sure that the technical risks associated with high-tech founding of startups should be reduced for the founders, and therefore they receive a significant package of support of various things. A little bit about myself before actually going into that. So I'm an alumnus of the Vienna University of Economics and Business. I was always interested in technology, but I'm not an engineer myself, I have to say. So as a student already, I was engaging in space associations like Students for the Exploration and Development of Space and the Austrian Space Forum. Also, I was in this international student organization, ISAC, which you see very below. And I was studying at WU in the basic studies of business administration and economics, but focused later on doing my PhD there as well in innovation management, because I really found my passion in that. So coming back to Accent, what is our strategy? What are our objectives? Lower Austria is a region that is basing its economic success on hidden champions. So we have a lot of companies that are world leaders in what they do. And this tradition needs to be continued somehow. And that's what we aim to do. So we are supporting startups that also think big and want to follow this very same path of becoming a hidden champion all across the world and export a lot. To strengthen existing and establish new leading companies, the province of Lower Austria has developed this program. So there is not only TechNet, there is not only Accent, but there is also TechNet, which is a venture capital company that is owned by the government of Lower Austria. They actually started TechNet because there was a lack of funding at the specific times around 2007 with the financial crisis, 2008. Therefore, we have like a whole infrastructure regarding the growth of such technology endeavors. So where are we located? As you see, there is this white spot in the middle of our map. Our offices are in Tulln, in Baden and Schwechat. Whereas Tulln, you have to say that it's not only an office, it's a makerspace, it's a co-working space, and startups with a life science approach, specifically regarding agriculture. So agri-tech startups are even able to use both fields to actually prove on real crops how their technology demonstrates in comparison to others. And there is even a greenhouse and a huge barn, so plenty of space to do a lot of different experiments. In the office of Baden, we don't have so much space. It's a rather small one, but it was there to be also present in the more southern part of Lower Austria. And now the latest office that we had actually moved to in February is in Schwechat, right at the airport of Vienna. So in Schwechat, we not only support startups with our office, our headquarters, and co-working space, but also we decided to focus on developing space technology there. So it's a space technology innovation hub that is about to be built. So there's 5 companies in total at the moment that already work in the area of space technology. And we are expecting more to come. We're in talks, and we hope that we have good news very soon about further companies joining in. So what is our support portfolio? We do cooperate with universities and research institutes extensively. We select the high potentials. We meet about approximately 250 potential startups every year. And we have to find out which ones are the good ones, which are the ones that deserve support, which don't, but I'll talk more about that later on. Yes, and we're doing an individually tailored funding and financial strategy with our founders there. And we are establishing networks with national and international R&D and industry partners. So any startup, when they are at the beginning of the whole process, before maybe having the proper idea even, faces this typical challenge, the innovator's challenge, as defined by Sanders and Stappers in 2008. And the question in the beginning is, how do we overcome an initially unclear situation in order to develop the business, produce to a real market, and thus become a successful founder? And there's a lot of iterations happening. As you see, it's not a linear process as it would happen in a big corporation, but there's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of risk, and there's a lot of paths that are found that may not be continued, which bring us back to square one. How do we, as an incubator, kind of capture this process and define an organizational structure that enables getting to where there is a rather flat line on the right side of the screen? So this is it. Based on Henry Chesbrough's concept of open innovation projects, we have also our own support funnel for startups. So each of the dots that you see is a potential startup in the beginning, as long as it's rather dark, or when it's red, that would signify that we have talked with a startup that does not really fit in our concept of a startup and therefore cannot be supported by us. As you see on the left side, there's a lot of logos of different universities. It's by far not complete. There's a lot of academic institutions where we get to meet startups and founders who are who have worked on their projects, for example, in their PhDs, but who didn't get to found yet and who are looking for support and don't, or maybe don't even know exactly how to go about it. So they come to us. We have a first talk in this first segment of this funnel. And if the startup is actually an idea worthwhile to pursue, we are recommending them to actually work towards becoming incubated. So basically, we do this screening process in a way so that we meet in person, or if possible in person, with each of those founders and discuss the whole idea, the concept, their business acumen, and find out whether this project actually makes some sense to us, and whether it fulfills the criteria that have been given to us basically by the government. Then when we conclude that it makes sense and it fits in, which we generally do in a generous way, the startups come into the pre-incubation phase. So pre-incubation means that we are working towards passing the evaluation board meeting, which is like this the second line in between pre-incubation and incubation. So this board meeting is an external panel of experts coming either from the startup world itself or from academia or from business, who are, and of course there's also representatives of AWS and the government of Lower Austria. And they vote on whether a startup is applicable for this offer that we do for the whole program or not. So the startups have to pitch, typically 50-minute presentation, or we recommend to do less than that. And then after a Q&A, the panel gets to decide. And most of the times, those startups that I'm pre-incubation, I would say more than 2/3, will also get to the tender evaluation board and then pass it. Of course, it often happens that startups, for example, decide to no longer found because they found out that it doesn't make sense because the market is not craving for what they want to do, or because they have other issues in the team. So many things can happen on the road. So even though we have a lot of projects that we are preparing for the incubation and get ready for this evaluation board, they are not like all in the end either actually going to the evaluation board and then entering the incubation. So once you pass this situation or this stage of the tender evaluation board, there is the incubation period, and in this period of 18 months in our standard program, We give them any support we can. Of course, we are doing individual coaching. We're looking at the problems that arise on an everyday basis. We make sure that grant applications are written decently, so there's some kind of quality and control regarding that. Typically in these 18 months, startups are using the 20,000 euros that they get from the government of Lower Austria as a grant to bring their product forward, to actually kind of polish it so that they can convince both the potential customers with a minimum viable product as the investors who hopefully will then join in and invest money to make the whole thing big and scale it up. So typically against the end of an incubation, rather in exceptions in the beginning of the incubation, TechNet comes into the play. So TechNet Equity ideally invests in those startups that we have prepared. And later on, Nöbeg, which is another investment facility of the government of Lower Austria, may also invest in startups once they are really scale-ups, when they are no longer startups actually. So you see the logo of Invest Austria. That is an association of investors in Austria, particularly business angels. Of course, they are also very interested in the startups that come out at the end of our process. And as you see, we hope to actually get our founders to grow their startups into unicorns. So far, I think we cannot say that we have achieved this goal, but I'm striving for that, and I hope that I will be able to report such a thing in the future. What are some successes that we had in the past? You see a lot of logos here. Maybe I should point out Impulsion, which is in the very middle of it. Impulsion is the first project I worked with when I came to Accent in 2016 in summer. It's a technology that has been developed over a extensive period of time in what is it called, in Fortec and in ARC Cybersdorf, a research facility. And finally they decided that this satellite propulsion system should also be made available commercially, and they found it at that time. And meanwhile, nowadays you can really say that they are world market leader in propulsion systems for small satellites. So they are really, really successful. They're more than 100 people now. So it's an amazing success that we could observe in this case. And that's really also a game changer in the space industry, because their propulsion system is about 10 by 10 by 6 centimeters in volume. Which makes it really small for a satellite. And now they have brought out new products that are bigger and also suitable for bigger satellites. So they're really changing the entire market. Yeah, and let's go on. Because if we finish on time and we still have some time left, we can still talk about the startups that I prepared for you in more detail. What are our programs? I was talking so far about this A+B scale-up program. We are an A+B center, which is an incubation program that is set up for all of Austria, basically. So there's a whole lot of centers in the various federal states of Austria. Our sister company in Vienna would be in it. The one in Styria is Science Park Graz, the one in Upper Austria, Tech2B, and the startup Salzburg, and so on. A part of this A+B scale-up program, I am actually focusing on space tech. So I've been working with the Science Park Graz as we together have been ESA Business Incubation Center of Austria since 2018. And we support space technology startups, but we also support startups that use space technology, that get it from the European Space Agency or the suppliers, and deploy it in new markets. So it's a really advantageous program. If you get into this ESA big program as a startup, you even get 50,000 euros as a funding, because there's this top up of the European Space Agency who says that space technology needs more money, and even that 50,000 for a startup is not so much overall, and they need further financing as well. At the very beginning, you see the creative pre-incubator. You must have been wondering already. The creative pre-incubator is a support program for entrepreneurship at the universities of applied science in Lower Austria, but they do not have the requirement of supporting projects only with technology at heart. They do not necessarily have to have some innovation and some invention inside. Therefore, it's not comparable with the tech startup setup as we typically do it. That is a specific team of our company that is dedicating their time to this. Yeah, and the last thing that you see on this slide is the EPIC LA. So this is the Lower Austrian Experimental Practices and Innovation Center. So it's exactly what I said before. That's the name we gave to the makerspace in Turin, where startup founders can actually experiment, where they have a lot of room to develop their things and to test out stuff. Yeah, we branded it recently so that this is going to be more exposed and more obvious that this is a specific location. Yeah, this is basically, I said most of what is on this slide already. It was developed in 2002 and has been implemented in 2005. So we are celebrating 20 years of age this year in October. We're looking forward to that. Meanwhile, we are also collaborating with CERN, the particle accelerator in Geneva, which is also providing potential technologies that they have developed for technology transfer into startup markets and new applications. Yeah. What is our offer? I've mentioned it vastly. So of course it's about infrastructure. Of course it's about coaching in different variances, because besides our individual coaching that we do as project managers there, we also hire external experts for specific topics. Sometimes it's just better to find the best expert for a specific topic and work with that, because doing a workshop of about a day or even half a day will bring on the startup founders much further than teaching them with other teaching materials. So it's really catered to the needs of the startups, and at the end of such day, they know what steps to make next in order to still stay on a professional path and, for example, save money on producing video material, because with a couple of tricks, our video expert who comes in explains them how to make a video as a non-professional that still looks professional, which is really thousands and thousands of euros that they're saving if they are applying this knowledge that they gain. Yeah, and of course, we have networks in our background. There is academia, as I mentioned before, but of course, there's also industry. We have connections to so many different institutions all across Austria and Europe. And that is really helpful, because we know we get to know the problems that startup founders have, challenges that may still be open, and we try to figure out how to actually support them and who to connect them with to get certain issues solved. Yeah, a couple of side facts also. Since 2020, we are certified as a EU Business Incubation Center. So that's some kind of an excellence label for the innovation agencies by the European Commission. Did I get that right? Yes, and we do also partnerships with other institutions, particularly also other incubators across Europe, regarding EU projects on the Green Deal, on deep tech, and on inclusive and social and female entrepreneurship. So yeah, and of course we are fully promoting the internationalization of our local startups, because it's all about growing international and not just catering for local markets. So this is how you may hopefully find your path to success. So we have another project that is not related to incubation, but it is still very relevant to us. We started it last year, and this is called the ESA PhiLab Net Austria. The ESA PhiLab is a project where it's about fostering technology for the new space that is underdeveloped in Europe. So in the United States and in China, there is plenty of startups. I'm talking of the thousands of them that are doing space technology, and Europe is really lagging behind in this regard. So the European Space Agency and also the Austrian Space Agency from FFG together have developed this new program so that we are supporting innovation from the phase of prototyping. So you have to have, when you apply to such a support grant, you have to have a prototype already, which needs to be brought to industrial scaling. So the idea is really to make sure that existing innovations may be scaled up and produced in masses, whatever that is in the space market, because it will never be in the millions, but even if it's in the hundreds, it's already a mass market for space manufacturing, you have to say. So that is the idea, and you get up to 300,000, actually, that's incorrect in this slide, sorry, of euros to perform these tasks and bring on your innovation. Yeah, maybe a couple of details about the Business Incubation Center that we do with the Science Park Graz. Actually, right at the moment, the call is closed. It used to be always open, but the whole program is being set up again, and we hope to start again next year, but still a couple of challenges need to be overcome. We offer space technologies also through the European Space Agency. We have our partner Primatech, as you see in the middle. The Primatech is the company that is the official broker for technologies of the Space Agency in Austria. So any company in Austria can approach Primatech and ask them to facilitate the exchange of technologies from the Space Agency or the suppliers so that they can improve their products. That is a very nice possibility. And of course, many startups are also using that one. Yeah, and the rest is similar as you've heard it before. There's access to experts, there's consulting, there's strategy development, a very crucial thing in high-tech startup founding. And approximately 35% of the Austrian ISABIC incubators have been in Lower Austria. So you've seen this slide before. I will skip it because this is now focused only on the startups that are related to space, but we've seen it before. So here's my contact details. If we still have time, I think there's 5 more minutes. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct. You have even 10 minutes if you...
I have 10 minutes. Okay, then I can talk much about further startups before actually going there. But still, you've got my contact details here, and I'll be happy to connect with you if there's any questions later on, or if you don't get to ask questions today. Also find me on LinkedIn. So here is one of the startups that we have worked with in the past 2 years. This is Energy Family. It's about energy community. What does that mean? With all the changes in the energy market and the individual possibilities of actually installing photovoltaic panels on their own house, the problem that was like at one side, it's a very nice thing to have, but on the other side, you often produce more electricity than you need at a certain point, and you may need it at a later time. If you're a member of an energy family, I'm saying, if you're a member of an energy community, you're able to exchange the electricity you produce with your friends and family. So this way, you produce this electricity, it enters the network, the whole overall grid, and some other people are using it at the same time, and you can therefore put your own price on that. So you, for example, if your grandmother doesn't have photovoltaics and you want her to just get your electricity if it's unused, then she will maybe get a price of 0, which is totally okay. And in addition to that, Energy Family is also using Earth observation data from Copernicus. So it's about, they call it nowcasting, because they want to know how is the weather developing. So in a smart home, it would be possible to also switch machines on and off and plan their use according to the weather forecast and for the next hours, it's even more important. So the nowcast is more precise and can actually tell when it makes sense to switch on the washing machine, dishwasher, and other devices at a specific time, or recharge an electric car, or not, because maybe later much more sun will come, and we don't want to actually buy the energy from the network. We want to use our own. So that is what they are doing with a very intriguing business model, and they are already on the way to success. So, okay, I've basically told you all of this, and there's a specific slide on that. I forgot to switch to the next one. As you see, there's the satellite data component, there's the planning component, and there's the network component. All of them are really relevant to make efficient use of the energy that you produced yourself. The other startup I really like is Beetle4Tech. They have actually started out on a hackathon and wanted to do something against illegal logging of forest. I know in Romania that was a huge issue, specifically with certain Austrian companies. The same goes for Ukraine, and of course for all of the rainforests where extremely valuable trees are located. And mafias all across the globe have developed ways to bring those protected assets into the normal industrial process of wood harvesting. Therefore, Beetle4Tech developed a device that is able to mark each log that was felled with a unique code. You see it here. This is the device from the side. They don't, as the patenting was not finished yet at the time I made the slide, which is more than a year ago. They were not showing what is actually the key technology. But it's about marking the tree and at the same time making sure that this device knows the highly precise location where it is. So there is the Galileo infrastructure of the European Commission. It's the most reliable and secure way to determine the location of where you are. There is even there are even measures against falsifying the signal in Galileo technology, so it's really difficult to actually falsify it. And therefore, as soon as you cut a tree, you mark this tree with this device. The code is brought onto the tree, but also the tree now is entering the digital realm. So there is a digital representation of this tree that is put into a blockchain, so immutable.
Yeah, this is what I'm trying to ask you. Is it based on the blockchain? So okay.
Exactly, it has to be basically. But that is not enough, because still you can just bring a log anywhere and then activate the machine. So that doesn't really make sense. So what you have to do is that you are marking this, and the tree is logged and is actually booked in a blockchain. But afterwards, you can also use Earth observation data, because a valuable tree is more than 10 by 10 meters of surface from above. So in other words, it's visible from Galileo. The most valuable trees are typically visible. And when they are cut down, then there is a mark left. And it is very easy to validate a legal process of felling a tree through this Earth observation component, because it will then miss exactly on that day, or exactly after that day when it was felled. So basically, that is the first steps of warranting that industrial processes in the wood production industry are based on legal felling only, and that mafias may no longer do their thing. Of course, mafias will become creative and try to find loopholes, but they have some things already, some ideas already how that will be prevented. But it's kind of an arms race, so it depends on how far mafia wants to go. They can go further, but it really makes it unprofitable then. So this is not a startup. Second cycle, what they do is they set up an industrial process of upcycling photovoltaic modules. So it's been now, I think, 20 years or more that the photovoltaic panels have been in use, in more and less widespread use, and therefore the first panels are already reaching the end of their lifetime. However, the end of the lifetime means often that it's 30% of specific installation that doesn't work. So this installation is removed entirely, even though 70% still works. The 30% that doesn't work inhibit the others from working properly. So they just remove it all and replace it. So what to do with those masses of photovoltaic panels? This startup is actually setting up this process where all of those panels are being tested with a whole number of different testing procedures automatically. They have discovered and evaluated hundreds of potential errors that such a photovoltaic panel has, but the most common errors are very simple. Specifically, the joints, the plugs corrode, and the corrosion in the plugs is the major error that prevents photovoltaic panels from functioning. Of course, things can happen, such as hail is destroying a panel. That is also a thing that is possible, but it's rather rare in comparison. Most of the times, the panels still have more than 90, I think even 99% of the original value, or was it 98% of the original value of power that it should provide you with, and therefore can still be used in low price segments. So they are selecting those that can be reused and clean them, refurbish them, bring them in shape so that they're functioning again, and then they're being resold. So it's a very promising startup with using ESA's technology in screening of such a photovoltaic panel, and it's very successful. They got a lot of investors as well, and therefore we're very proud on what they achieved in this very short time. I think we started working in summer of 2022. Oh, was it April? I'm not sure. What was this? Ah, okay. Then it's, why does this finish? Okay. Are there any questions? So I selected some of the startups that are there.
Andrei, please.
Yes, just because these are quite very interesting presentation, I can say, and I find these success stories quite developed in terms of, first of all, the idea that created them, and then the use. So I'm wondering the model that you have with supporting them, and someone was talking previously about the percentage of share of accelerator in a company and things like that. How do you resolve this? How do you continue with your vested interests after they've left you and continue with the commercialization and things like that?
We don't take any shares, if that is what you're asking about. There's no shares that being taken. That's well, basically the governmental financing enables us to do that, and we still stay in contact with them. Basically, all startup founders I meet, I tell them, you are my future business angel for the startups I will work with in 5 years. So you should become an investor at a certain point of time, because I want you to become really rich with what you're doing there.
All right, nice one. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, good strategy. I also discover, just one short question before then we finish. We have some small break. I noticed on your website that you pay attention on intellectual property strategy. So
Yes.
in which level are you support and when you develop that strategy for the startup?
Well, it's in the very earliest phase already. You can make so many mistakes when it is about protecting your intellectual property. So from the first day on, we already think about how can we do that? How should they go about this challenge, so that we make sure that certain mistakes are not done. Of course, AWS provides a couple of instruments in this regard also. So there's Patent Check, and there's also from FFG some support. And there's a whole, I think it's a whole department of AWS working on that only. But we collaborate with the intellectual property department of the TechNet Equity. So, of course, I'm also proficient in intellectual property management. I was teaching that topic also in the University of Economics and Business. But when it gets to the details of patenting, we have an expert at tech at equity, and we make certain coaching sessions with them, and get to the level where we really make sure that the startup founders understand what is at stake and what can they do about it with moderate means available.
Yeah. Yeah, because I noticed, but I didn't want to make mistake. Like one of the earliest stage of support is that part of the intellectual property, because anyone else didn't mention that, and for the SAM project, it's very important. Your makerspace, it's dedicated only for the startup that are dealing with the space technology, or it's open for any kind?
It's open for any kind, but we are working on creating an additional makerspace regarding space technology in Schwechat, but that is not happening yet.
Yeah, okay, it's a
That's
plan
a future
for
project.
the airport area.
Yeah.
Okay.
So officially, nobody of you knows that yet, but it's the idea that has been always there, and we're dreaming of that. So we are also working towards that.
Yeah, it's good to dreaming when you have opportunity to dreaming when somebody supports your dream.
Yeah, the issue is that creating a makerspace with high-tech machinery that is necessary for space technology requires a lot of funding, and our current budget does not allow for that, but maybe we will find some creative ways to enable that. So there's some ideas already in the bush.
Okay, Florian, thank you very much for your time. We will make short break, like, I don't know, scratching legs or something like that. And for most persistent guys who staying with us in the last session, and we are starting 3 o'clock. So be with us. It's very interesting, isn't it? Okay. See you
Okay,
around
thank you
3
very
o'clock.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Florian.
Have a good day.
Have a good day.
So, Stefan, we are back to your candidate. Actually, people who are passing through your program. Thank you to provide this opportunity that we heard from the first-hand experience in the people who are passing AWS first incubator. Marian Stojicki, no, is not good pronunciation. They will join us now. Okay.
It was definitely good enough. It's Stoshitsky.
Stoshitsky, yeah, but it's like sounds like Polish. Am I right? No.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you for your time and your half an hour to present your experience, what are you doing, and yeah, everything that will be valuable for people that are listening to you and pick up your experience in passing through the acceleration program. Please go ahead, share the screen. You need to be unmuted for.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
this is the
valuable
important
information
point.
before I proceed. Thank you very much, Igor, and thanks, Stefan. You have been the one to set this up. Very happy to be here with you. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Marian, founder and CEO of the startup Zeitgeber, and I'll quickly try to share my screen. This is not always easy. I think I have to. Okay. It seems like Apple's forcing me to reopen my Slack, my Teams in order to do that. Apologies for that. I'll be back in a second.
Don't worry.
And I'm back. I hope that this is gonna work now. And now sharing my screen. Okay. I hope everybody can see this.
Yes, we can see it. That's perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, so I'm very excited to be here. I've seen that Ute Stadelbauer, who's currently in administrative charge of the AWS First, has already presented it from an organizer's perspective. And I am happy to add a little bit of the startup's perspective. I've also seen that Katharina Herzog, also an amazing founder in person, will do the same after me. Stay tuned for that. I'm happy to present my startup's view, Zeitgeber. We have participated in the 2022 batch, which technically has started in summer 2021 with the application phase, which I think is already an important part of the whole journey. And before we dive into it, I've structured my talk in 4 phases, a little introduction about me and the startup that I'm working for. Then I'd like to start the main part with the conclusion to give you a sense of what to pay attention to, in my opinion, and in my reflection, when it comes to the different phases. I will dive a little bit into each phase, application, bootcamp sessions, midterm pitch, and then the final pitch before I return back to the conclusion. So who is the person that is talking to you? My name is Marian Stoshitsky. I'm a graduate student of TU Wien with an academic major in medical informatics and a supplement diploma in innovation. I have founded, together with 3 co-founders, the startup Zeitgeber in 2022 in the course of AWS First. And I'm also in the domain of sleep health, an author of the book Love Mornings, the science-based guide to wake up healthier and happier. I am also a notorious snooze button presser, and this is where the journey started. Throughout my life, I really had trouble waking up. If you struggle, welcome to the team. It turns out that if you do the analysis, about 3 to 10 people have a severe misalignment between their internal clock. There really is a biological mechanism that acts like a clock in your body, and the external schedule, like the professional wake time that you have to adhere to. And this is not only uncomfortable, this morning tiredness is just the tip of the iceberg, but it causes long-term health risks like sleep problems. Also, weight problems is associated with obesity and diabetes type 2. And especially in winter, the epidemiology of winter depression, SAD, is very closely associated to this sort of misalignment that stems, if you dive a little bit deeper, from a misalignment in lighting rhythms. And not gonna go too much into the science, but the studies and the evidence show that if you change your lighting in the morning and in the evening, particularly in the morning, if you leverage some technologies that are scientifically well described, but not yet available in the private bedroom, you could really change this and turn people into morning people if they want to be that, or just want to enjoy a more pleasant and a healthier wake-up experience. So this is what we set out to do with Zeitgeber, aspiring to be the world's most advanced dawn simulator. And I think we did manage that. We have started our journey in late 2020 as just a project, no background, no family background in innovation. So incubator programs like AWS First have really been a game changer for me and my team. And throughout this process, we grew to a team of 7 people and brought our concept into a beta prototype stage with paid pilot studies together with wellness hotels in Austria. They were very well received. And this was basically the end of where AWS First Incubator was accompanying us. As it is sometimes the case with a lot of startups, pivots happen. There was a financial challenge in 2023. We didn't get the funding to proceed with our hardware. So just to give you some idea how we proceeded, we went more into the educational area. I authored a book that summarizes the most important science for you to apply it in your everyday life. And we have now turned this book into an interactive app that guides you through the most important lifestyle adjustments and helps you in your everyday implementation in a sort of gamified way. You can track your progress and your results. So much about me. We can talk about AWS First Incubator from a startup's perspective. And it has been an emotional journey for me because it wasn't easy to get into the incubator. We finally managed, and I'm very proud of that. So to give you an idea what I took away, it was application in summer 2021, and then the program spanned 2022, and there was a final pitch in front of a large audience in November 2022, which was sort of the celebrated finale of the whole program. My 3 takeaways, which I invite you to pay close attention to how that can be facilitated with your own incubation program. I personally consider the most important value that incubation or acceleration programs give their incubatees the context in which startuping becomes normal or is normal. What do I want to say with this? I have come from an academic background. My whole family, like, they just studied, they followed a job. Failing, doing something that is out of the ordinary and may seem weird to others, like, there's a huge friction that prevents you from just going out there and talk to people like a crazy person. you have to do this to get your startup started and to validate ideas. And you would be surprised, and maybe you know it firsthand, how many talented people, how many promising concepts do not become successful because people just shy away from getting in touch with other people, like getting rejections, talking to other people. And if there are no structural incentives to push people to get there, the process becomes a lot longer and slower. So an acceleration program, for me, sets up the environment perfectly to give you no other choice than do the hard work that you normally would not do because the other people are doing it. Your financial compensation depends on it, and you have to present to a large audience at the end of the day. So you better do your work. I'm absolutely serious about this. I think it can hardly be overstated how difficult it is for me and many people to get out there and talk to people and do the inconvenient stuff, even if you're a generally ambitious person. Secondly, the community aspect. I think it's a continuation of point one beyond the duration of the incubator program. I have been not only in the AWS First, but also in other startup programs. And from each and every one of them, I have taken great relationships with mentors, with teachers, but also with fellow incubatees away, which make my personal circle now an environment where startupping is normal. And this has been the most significant change in my life in the last 5 years. Design your environment, and getting and keeping a community is an amazing asset. So I think you're well advised to incentivize this if you launch an incubator. So one session with team building may actually be more important, more valuable for the startups than a session that is just about content. Lastly, what made AWS First Incubator particular and special among the early stage incubation programs in Austria was that it did give the startups some money. And it may not seem much from the outside. It was 400 euros per person per month, but this is really significant. We had no money to start with. We were students. So getting 400 euros a month lets us buy some hardware, but it also gives us the credit in front of our families and friends that we're professional startuppers. So I think if you have the resources to actually provide your startups with some money, this is a huge lever to get motivated and committed teams. Speaking about motivated and committed, I think AWS First did a really good job in many respects. There are some minuses that I've put here and there. Generally, I think it has provided great value, and the administrators can really be proud of the program. This was very visible to me when I first encountered it. It was the early days of the startup. We had no self-confidence. We had no idea whether what we did was actually a good idea. This is like the frequent early stage question, is this a good idea? I didn't really know. What I did know is that I had no money to pursue it. And here comes AWS First, who on their website has some of the big names of the startup ecosystem. And also I knew that from the last batch, the finalists pitched on TV. So maximum credibility that this would be an exclusive club of founders, and not every startup may get somewhere, but if you get somewhere, you've likely been in that program at some point. And what happened was they rejected us. So we tried again. As a matter of fact, I think it took 3 applications, and it was worth it because the perceived value already at the application phase was, if you get there, if you get accepted by AWS First, you will be and become a professional startupper, because you will be provided with money. You will have the best education that many smart people think is the most important stuff. And they really only take a selected few, because that means by getting accepted, you've already made it. And I think those were my 3 drivers to really want to get into IaaS first and not into other smaller incubators. So anything that adds into those 3 domains, I think will increase the likelihood that early stage startups want to be part of this program. Also, a positive note, the application process itself was not an incredibly long business plan, which I had no idea of, but it was just a 2-pager description about the startup. And it was a 3-minute video where if I could design the program, I would even say you're not allowed to do a lot of cutting or post-processing, because I worked a full week, full-time on post-processing the video. In hindsight, this was absolutely unnecessary. You just want to get across your vibe and your emotions, and that you have thought of different things that are important in the startup process. So in October 2021, we were finally invited to the 2nd stage. We had not made it yet into the program, which was the boot camp. It was a whole weekend where all the teams met, and you knew that they were in a competition for 10 seats in the incubator program, but 15 teams had been invited. There's a fair chance you make it, but you immediately know that you're in a not even a friendly, you're in a competition with the other teams. And we did everything. We gave our very best to deliver the best work here, and you could see that every team did that. So I think it was a smart move to leverage initial commitment to visibly put teams in a sort of competition against each other, because everybody really wanted to prove itself, and there was something at stake because you were on there, and everybody would know at like 2 months later whether you had made it or not. We ended up being very successful at the bootcamp. It was one of the proudest moments of my life, not gonna lie, because it had been a long and challenging journey until then. We had finally made it. That was a LinkedIn post that we posted in late 2021, one of our most successful posts out there. And that brought us into a year of program where we did get some money. We got 400 per month per person. And then later a project budget of 20K. We got educational workshops. We got dedicated team building workshops. And again, I think that was quite underrated in hindsight. Some of the most significant points that made us a community instead of just a group of people were these team building things. We had been, and it may have been a little bit too much, but everybody remembers it. We were in a workshop where the task was only in a subgroup of people. Out of, like, on a scale from 1 to 10, things that are outside your comfort zone, share something that is at least a 9. I think that was the task. And it was unbelievable how that shaped the community, because it made us vulnerable, and we recognized the human beings behind the startups, behind the teams. And I still talk to many people about the events that happened in those team building sessions. Last but not least, we got a mentor on our side, which at that time was one of my role models in the startup ecosystem. And while I had already a pretty good idea about the knowledge that was conveyed in the workshops, the mentoring was just, like, by definition, they listen to what you're currently struggling with. They give you personalized advice, and they really know their stuff. So I became a big fan of the mentoring program. Not everybody had like this amazing experience with the mentoring. So the matchmaking, I think, deserves some attention. You cannot just randomly match people together. But if it is a match, it's really invaluable for early stage startups talking to experienced founders. Not all things were always great. And I would suspect that Ute may have talked about commitment, maybe not. It was also challenging from a startup's perspective. Both things, like on the one hand, it was still COVID time, and a lot of the workshops that took 4 hours to attend were online. This is just exhausting. It also prevents you from really bonding with other people. So it worked against the community aspect, which in my opinion is one of the big 3 of the values of the program. And also you could see that some teams were not as committed as you would expect them to be, or as you would like them to be. And this is not a problem as long as there are well-defined consequences for a visible lack of commitment. If like your financial compensation depends on it, or if you get any, I don't know, like it has to be fair. And I only feel treated fairly if I see people, when I see people who are not as committed to have some consequences because of that. So I think being very clear in advance, but also strict about the commitment that you want, is not something that scares startups away, but it adds to the exclusivity and to the credibility of the program. What did that very well as well was the midterm pitch. So after we had some workshops in early 2022, there was a project budget to get spanning 20,000 euros, but you would only get it if you convince a jury that you had made the progress that they want to see at that stage in the program. And I don't know what the rules really were, but at the end of the day, all the startups got it. But I was like, my life depended on delivering that pitch. And I think the other teams saw it similarly. So you could be sure that like every word of the pitch was well prepared and people were really, really committed to give it their best at that pitch, because like 20,000 euros were at stake, and this is everything at that stage of the startup. Again, a little bit in a different way, because there was only 3,000 euros of prize money at stake, which was still very attractive. I know that from an organizer's perspective, the program costs a lot of money. And you could think, I don't know, I think 20,000 euros per person is not very special. But if you make the first prize worth 3K, this for the startups is an amazing incentive to perform well. We also had a lot of social pressure. The event was very exclusive. There were 200 people attending. You knew that like you were on the in the spotlight, and if you made a mistake, 200 people would know that. So the exclusivity was really a positive aspect to mention. A personal thing that frustrated me a lot was I was very well prepared. I think I got the feedback that my pitch was delivered on point. It was very professional. And then one of the jury members told me, yeah, you were just too professional. I could feel that you would go your way and your startup would be fine. So I wanted to award a startup that was not as professional, but I could see their potential. So I wanted to give them the money to support them to grow even faster. And I think like this is a noble intention, but this was not transparently communicated in advance. And this was a moment where 3K got or not received made a difference in terms of could we pay ourselves for the next month. And this was really hard. And I could tell that like a lot of startups were felt like they were treated unfairly at that event. While I still think like the people who got it, they're amazing teams. It was just my personal experience. So I think transparency, what is evaluated, is really a virtue here. And that brings me back to my conclusion, with which I want to finish my talk again. I hope I've touched the different points that add to you want to give your best, even and do something that if there was no external pressure, if there was no context that constructed this urgency, you would just not like to do. So it was the competition, the peers around you, the mentors, like all of this made it the next logical step to do the uncomfortable thing and get out on the street and talk to people or to customers. Then again, the community, where I think team building, in-person events, and even multi-day workshops so that people get to spend off the task time together is what contributes to the bonding and to the building of relationships that may survive like well beyond the duration of the program, as it has happened for me. And lastly, you know, by now I'm a proponent of adding money to the mix. I have participated in programs that did not reward the participating teams with money. And I think you just see the difference. You can add it, like it adds to the support and to the empowerment of the startup, but it can also be used as a leverage for commitment to say, hey, you have to deliver your commitment, otherwise you will get less or you will not get the money, like the IaaS First has done with the midterm pitches, for example. I can only contribute my perspective. I hope I've done that vividly for you. Another perspective will be delivered shortly, but for now, I think I have a few minutes to take questions, and I thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Marian, because you're sharing, you know, your emotion in the situation that you pass through. You know, I love it. Your professional startuppers, you know, status. It's very innovative, you know, term for me. There is some question from others. It's a very inspirative. Thank you, Andre.
Yes, just want to say, like the product, hopefully we can buy it somewhere close. It's a very interesting concept. I just wanted to ask you, like, how did you protect your idea? If you had a patent, who paid for it? Were you concerned about it? Because the idea is very clear, it's nice, and were you concerned about your idea that might be stolen or something like that if you do not find patent it?
It's a great question. Thank you very much. And yes, you're right to ask it, because in hindsight, it was one of the big challenges that we had with our product. If you see that some scientific mechanisms are well described in the scientific literature, and you ask yourself, why haven't they been translated into consumer applications yet? This is one answer, like, because they are public, they have been described, and what we've done is we trademarked our design concept with the bidirectional lighting that we had, that you mounted above the top end of the bed. We were in the process of filing a patent how we present the lighting, because we were like by a factor 1000 more dimmable than typical consumer lights. But this was not really like a foundational patent. So IP protection has always in investor talks been an issue for us.
All right.
Okay. Thank you very much. I mean, we have no time. Probably all these things what we are today presented, they will be on our website of our project. So we will encourage people to listen all this presentation. So just to check my schedule now, there is another presentation that from startup that coming from AWS incubator. Catherine Herzog, it's from MoneyCare. It's with us probably.
Yes,
Hi,
I'm here.
Catherine.
Happy to be
How are
there.
you?
Good, how are
Yeah.
you?
Oh, well, a little bit, like for everybody, you need full concentration if you want to follow like 8 hours online training. It's a new experience for me, to be honest, It's very difficult
Maybe we need a
sometimes.
short bio break to
We have
stretch
almost
and get
10.
some air.
Yeah, we have almost 10 like that trainings and presentation session. Yeah, but sometimes you need to focus on some topic, and especially and be in a one file on the website. But yeah, I hope so that will be very useful for everyone. Thank you for your time, and I expecting to see what are you doing with your startup and your experience. So floor is yours. You can share the slides.
Thank you. Yes, I will share some slides. Just give me 1 sec. Can you see the screen now or the slides?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you.
Perfect. So warm welcome from my side, and happy to be here and share some of my experience from the AWS first incubator. It's been 3 years ago that we've done the program. We were in the same batch as Marian, so good to see you again too. And hi, yeah, my name is Katharina. I'm co-founder and CEO of MoneyCare. We are a Vienna-based fintech startup, and we started our journey with AWS, and we're still being supported also in other grants and programs. So this has been really the kickoff of our startup phase, as an incubation should be, I guess. But I'm happy to tell you.
You cannot be limited on this experience. You can also explain what's going after the
I will.
Probably very successful generation that AWS have.
Yeah, let me explain a bit what we do at MoneyCare, and then also how our experience at the incubator was, and what I especially liked about it, what ideas I got from also, the journey so far. At MoneyCare, essentially what we do is we empower financial platforms of all kinds with AI-powered sustainability data. So we deliver this kind of data for the retail investment space. And to make it very concrete, with whatever we're doing, we want to empower retail investors to align their investments with personal values. And why is this even important for our customers, and our customers being ranging from financial information platforms to brokerage solutions? And I'm showing you the case of brokerage right now. The main goals, or the reasons they speak to us and they want to integrate our data, is that sustainability data can offer really tangible trading signals, ideas, inspirations to align your investments with your strategy, and therefore also enhance user engagement in the platforms, and build a strong connection to the client base. So sustainability data, in essence, can actually boost investor engagement. And how this can look like is that in brokerage solutions and apps, with our data that we offer, users can actually join like multiple discovery paths and explore investments, discover investments, and then when they come to look at single stocks or even funds and ETFs, they can get a fulfilled perspective of the underlying company. So for instance, see I don't know how many percent female managers are employed with HubSpot, or how does this ETF really look like? What's inside the product? Are companies within the product upholding planetary and social boundaries? And this kind of information and attachment to the investments will then lead to a stronger identification also, and a very personal experience of personal investment experience. So this is where we stand at the moment, but looking back at where we started with AWS first incubator, it was basically, we only knew of a dilemma, and the dilemma being we knew, or we sensed, that there's a big proportion of retail investors, just like ourselves, that are interested in sustainable investing and in considering other factors, not just return and risk. And at the time being, there was not really means to research that, to find information, to align your portfolio with your values. So when we applied to AWS first, it was basically just this idea of how cool would it be to have an app or something, some tool where you could find the most sustainable companies and then actually channel your money into those companies. And this was a very B2C driven approach, because it came from our own perspective and pain points. And then within the program, we made sure to clarify and test these kind of hypotheses. But I will come to that, and I'm sure Marianne has also shared a lot of like the main program points or goals of the program. But just moving forward, and to give you a bit more of content around the topic that we're working on, or the space that we're active in, what you see here is basically everything that retail investors could access at the time. And those are like basic ESG ratings, how are they called? So they are supposed to tell you across environmental, social, and governance factors. But as you can see here, those are 3 different ratings from big data companies, all on the same company, Volkswagen in this case. And yeah, they range from 26.8 over 86 to a B. And I don't know about you, but I'm rather confused and not really enlightened on is that even good or bad, or why is it differing so much? What does it tell me? And should I invest or not if I want to consider those social and environmental factors? So what we did out of that, and let's fast forward, and it's just a snippet. You can explore that in more detail on our platform actually. But we did a visualization and interactive way to actually explore the raw data behind it. So for instance, to see really how many women in management are there, how much energy is used from renewable energies at Volkswagen. Does the company stay within the CO2 budget with its emissions? How does that look like if we also take the scope 3 emissions into account? And you can see, for instance, that Volkswagen in this case exceeds the CO2 budget with those scope 3 emissions by more than 100 times. And all this kind of data is displayed in a way that retail investors can actually use it and understand it. And it was a very long process to get to the point that it's shown in this way, and also that we get the data in the first place. Because this was, yeah, I remember being in the program and we had 2 main questions. How do we even get the data? And then how do we interpret and measure it? And both questions, like we approached them on the one hand, with a very technical approach. So we found our third co-founder within the year of AWS First, and he brought in technical experience and knowledge, especially from the field of artificial intelligence. So we were able to draft the first prototype and ideas of how to extract this kind of data from very unstructured company reports. So you can imagine stock listed companies, they do have to report, they do annual reportings, 10K reports, policies, everything. But as a retail investor, you could never try and read all of those or find the right information in there. And even if you do it in a structured manner, it's so much manual work to do the keyword research and find this number of, I don't know, 30% renewable energy usage. But our vision was to build a tool that actually speeds up this process and uses extractive AI to find these data points and to trace them back to the source. So that's what we've managed so far, and the models are getting better and better, and we were able to come from 5-6 hours manual work per company down to, let's say, half an hour or a couple of minutes to extract this data. And then the second question was how to interpret it. What is good, what is bad, what is sustainable, what is not. And for this, we were able to cooperate with a research institute of the United Nations. They, at the time, were working on a new set of indicators which really takes into account planetary and social boundaries. So we talked to them, we co-created this kind of modeling and went forth and back of how to actually make this visible and measurable and really have an impact in the investment space, because putting this data out there and making it visible actually helps a lot in terms of accountability and really channeling money to hopefully the right companies, or at least in a way that people can actually relate to and be in line with it. Yeah, and our product right now is actually, it's a data product. We offer this data via an API, so it's ready to be integrated into different platforms. As I said, financial information platforms where you go and research, or even brokerage platforms where you then actually trade and execute your strategies. This year we onboarded our first customer, which is a very, like, one of the two big financial platforms in Germany. They're called OnVista. And in the meantime, now we have 2 more financial platforms and also 1 brokerage platform that already committed to work together with us. So we're finally in the stage of really entering the market and gaining traction after this whole phase of, first of all, building the solution to get to the data, to also build the network around it and make sure to refine our business model, because we switched from this B2C idea in the first place to not hardcore B2B, because we still keep the B2C client in mind, but we're working with other partners to actually leverage our impact and also of course have more stable income revenue streams. It's just a different approach, and we focus on our strength, which is the data. Now, looking back at AWS First and our time, I mean, it's a whole year, so this was really it shaped our experience and the first beginnings of what we did, starting with the application and the startup camp. This was really interesting because we sent in our application and the concept of everything, but then during those 2 days and while speaking to a lot of the mentors and jury members that were present, and also the other startups. It was a really, let's say, unraveling 2 days where everything was questioned and new perspectives came in. And after the 2 days, we were like, what are we even doing? But I think this is I don't know if it's the goal during those 2 days, but it's definitely the goal during the program to make sure you're on the right track, to ask the right questions, to actually test and verify hypotheses that you have, because it doesn't make sense to build anything if it's not really going into the right direction. So very interesting experience, and yeah, we were very happy to be accepted for the program, because what it meant was 1 year of workshops, mentoring, and this is not to be underestimated, also the financial support. I mean, at this stage, when you have just a rough idea or a vision, it's hard to get private money for this kind of testing and experimenting. And for us, it really meant we could actually work on something and get something started. So it really helped to have had both the expertise and the support, but also the financial means to get something going. And maybe to have also some time to discuss and answer your questions, but just some highlights of what I especially liked, and reflecting also on the experience. It was really good that a lot of the workshops and the support was very hands-on. So we had workshops where we learned how to set up an A/B test in a campaign, or how to do the hypothesis testing, how to set up interview surveys, things like that. So really what to focus on at the beginning and where to start, and it really helped to structure the whole process. Of course, it would also, I mean, it's always helpful to have a very tailored and individual support. So we had that through the mentoring, but if I look back now at the experience, it would have been probably very nice to have more time to really sit with those coaches and mentors and work on the tasks, instead of hearing about them in theory and then being left to actually implement them. But that's a fine line, because I can understand why you want to, or why the program is designed to support a lot of startups that are also slightly in different stages, even though it's all of them are beginning, but some might already have pilot customers, others are still very much in the idea phase. And yeah, it was very interesting and helpful to be accompanied in all of those stages. And what's not on the slide, but is definitely very, very sticking and crucial for me and for us as a team, was the community around it. So Marian being one of them, but really multiple teams and people that are all motivated, and that you're in this together basically, and you have so much contact during the year that you really get to know each other and know to ask each other for advice, or I don't know, can you send me your GmbH, Gesellschaftervereinbarung, so things to really help each other out with documents, with processes. This was, I think, maybe even the most valuable part. So I'm happy to get your questions and to answer hopefully all of them, and to discuss a little also maybe how this resonates with what you've heard during the day, and what questions came up in the meantime. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing the experience. I will start to ask you, after this program, and you pass something similar, and maybe you can share a little bit. In meantime, you increase the team, and yeah, and good luck, of course, with the further. I'm so glad that you find customers and your business, they are growing. But yeah, but I'm also interested after that how those programs boost you maybe to pass on some another level and some more information about that.
Yes. So I see the program as one crucial stage to actually get into the next stage. And this, if you think of it like funding stages, but it's a lot that goes along with these lines. I mean, you get more clearance on more clarity on the business model, the traction around it. But the program really helped to be ready to apply and get the next bigger grant, to actually have more resources to build, to get to the next stage. So it was really the entry point, and yeah, we were able to secure another grant by the same, also by AWS, on it's called pre-seed. So next stage, and then now we even are in the seed program. So we took it step by step, and in the meantime, we're able to build our team, to build the product, to to secure the first partnerships and customers, and to learn a lot along the way. So yeah, by now we also have private money involved, but to an extent where it's really in harmony and in synergy with the public grants also.
I understand. Also, the open floor. I will open floor for any other question of the people who are still present. Probably it's a little bit tired. I'm still
maybe
very
while
concentrate. Yeah.
maybe
I'm
while
so
people are
exciting for the.
sorry.
No, Stefan, please.
Okay, I just wanted to say thank you to Katarina for taking the time today, and maybe give people a bit more time to think about a question, because I thought that was a really interesting presentation, and I'm really happy to see how far you guys have come. And it's especially when you work at AWS, it's so nice to see how you go through all these stages with your company, and we get the chance to be a part of that. So that's always feels nice to be able to say that we to see how much of an impact the work that we're doing can have. So
definitely,
that's very nice.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you once again, and probably we have the one more presenters today. Now they are coming from the Romanian startup ecosystem, FoodFix, and Mihai Garvin is with us. I saw him on the. They are present. So yeah, your floor is yours, and you can share your experience and tell us a little bit more also about your startup, your journey, and yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for your time, Catherine. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Kata.
Oh, hello guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. I know it's late. I suppose that you started the presentations early in the morning, so it was a hard day. I will try not to be so official, so I just start to tell you about FoodFix and our experience with Rubik Hub Accelerator. And I want to start with a question for you. I know it's late and it's hard, but I want to start with a question.
Okay.
The question is, do you cook at home?
I love to cook.
Oh, okay. So
when I have time, of course, but
when you have time
during the day, just like, I don't know, ordinary, just something that take like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. But when I have time, I love.
Okay, very nice. This is actually an open question for everyone here. So if they cook at home, I have also the second question related. So it's very nice that you are cooking at home. The second one is, where do you take your recipes off?
Okay. I have plenty of books.
Books, okay.
Yeah, books, but sometimes I explore also on the internet, and then I add something according my opinion. So I never
Your personal
follow
touch.
100% of the recipe. I find something, and based on that, and depends how many ingredients I have, I like to experiment.
Okay, very nice, very nice. So actually, I hope that today I will get one user from this ecosystem, and I guess you will be my new user for today.
Okay.
From this ecosystem, and I will explain you our philosophy and the stage that we have today. So why I was putting these questions, because are related to the problems that we are solving, and to give you more to give you an example that is easy to understand, I will give you an example in parallel with the music industry. Because what we are doing, we are reflecting the food knowledge industry, which is different. But if you look at music industry, what Spotify resolved back in 2007? The problem that they were resolved was the fragmentation of the information, because the music was there, was all over the place on the internet. The problem was that the end user had to consume the information in different type of sources. And what they did, they get together all the musicians in the same place with the unique value proposition for the end user to have a nice experience of listening their favorite songs. Okay, if you go fast forward in 2025 today, the same problem is in the food knowledge industry. When I asked you where do you take your recipes off, first was books, and the other one was internet, which internet is highly vast. The information is there, but the problem is the fragmentation. So if I want to cook something, the experience that I have and the amount of time to find the recipe on the internet is very high. And so I have a couple of problems. One is the fragmentation. The second one, what I find doesn't have anything in common with me. Third one, it's a lack of standardized information, because a lot of people put the informations with cooking steps, with not cooking steps, not the ingredients, all the ingredients, and so on. So it's not standardized, the information that is publicly right now on the internet. And I don't have any information related with the calories, for example. I don't have any information related to eco score, like carbon footprints. Depends on what type of ingredients I have, and so on. So what we've done, we've created this unique ecosystem called FoodFix. Grab your phones, search in Google Play or Apple Store FoodFix, and the principle is watch, plan, cook. And I will explain you. So what we've done, we created this ecosystem where the food content creators can upload their knowledge, and I will explain you how, and can benefit of royalties. It's like in music. If your recipe is used, then you receive royalties. And the end user have a unique experience. So if you look at this, we have a two marketplace size. On one side, we have the creator, and the other side, we have the end user. So what we've done, we've made a research on the creator and understand on a global level, all the creators have only one thing in common, which is the knowledge, and it is the video recipe. everyone create video recipes and upload it on the social media, like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you name it. The problem there is that the TikTok and Instagram is created to deliver entertainment, not to deliver utility. So what we've done, we said, okay, everyone has this unique asset, which is the video recipe. So the only thing that they had to do, they uploaded it in our ecosystem, and the ecosystem extract automatically the ingredients, the nutrition, the cooking steps. We are creating a profile of the dish, and I will explain you why. Because it resolves the problem of getting some recipes that have something in common with you. So we have this theory that on a global level, we as a humanity, we have one thing in common, which is not the language, is not the politics, is not the religion, but it is the taste. Everyone has the taste on a global level. So what we've done, we say, okay, let's analyze the dish, the creator dish, and we are creating a profile of the dish based on 28 aspects, like acidity, satiety, taste like umami, and so on. And after that, we are looking at the end user profile, also the 28 elements. And we are matching the profile of the dish with the profile of the user. And this is how we are matching the taste on a global level. But we also had a big problem right now with social media, which is the language. Because a creator from Romania, it cannot deliver a food knowledge in Japan, because the Japanese, they will not understand what the creator speaks in Romanian. So what we are doing by extracting the information, and automatically we are delivering the food knowledge to the end user natural language. So if you are from Japan and the creator from Romania, a dish from Romania matches with your profile, then you will see the creator speaking with his voice, but in Japanese. So it's local knowledge, global reach. And so if you look at social media, all the social media stops at on a short, on a video. We have all the process behind, like all the information, standardized information about the recipe. And we are looking at the habits of cooking, because the cooking process, it's not instantly, but it's a planned process. So we have in our application this principle: watch, plan, cook. You love the recipe, you just add it to your meal plan for next Friday. Igor will come to my house and I want to make a dish for him. So I plan the dish, and the application automatically creates me the groceries list. And when I go to Carrefour or whatever market I have in my town, I can buy the groceries, the ingredients. And also in the second stage, in this autumn, we'll have a call to action on a groceries list, like order ingredients. And Glovo will come to your house and deliver all the ingredients. So we are following this principle: watch, like in TikTok, plan, and cook very easy at your home. So this is Food Tricks.
Are you include, sorry, because interrupt you, but are you including, for example, what is problem with the recipe that you couldn't allow to find the ingredients, but maybe something similar in your country that exists? You know, yeah. I am pissed off when I'm reading some recipe from, I don't know, from Mexico, and
yeah. You don't have the ingredients. Actually, we have an AI embedded in the platform, And you can talk with the AI, for example, and say, okay, I love this Mexican recipe, but I don't have these ingredients. And the AI will tell you what you can change the ingredients with, how you can change it. And also the cooking experience is very, very nice, because, you know, when you are consuming the information from TikTok or from Instagram, you have a long or a short for, I don't know, 40 seconds. And the experience is very hard. So what we do in the cooking experience, you are opening the cooking experience and you have detailed steps and clicking on each step, and the movie it's playing for that step. So it's very, very nice to cook at home. And it's very nice because after 2 weeks of launching of the mobile app, right now we are on 8. Yesterday, I didn't check it today, but we were on 8th place on Google Play for food and drink in just 2 weeks. So it was it was a nice success from this point of view. We also have big partnerships like MasterChef, and for the first time in the history of the TV show, the end user from home can cook the recipes from the show in our application. So we were breaking the TV barrier, you know. Okay, but I will stop it with I can talk for another one hour, but I guess you are very, very
No, you're muted. Sorry, accidentally you have to be unmuted.
Mihai.
No, okay, accidentally.
You know, they made a research on a global level with video recordings, and they said that the most common words used in video conference was "you are on mute." Okay, so guys, I want to share a little bit my experience with Rubik Hub, because this is the scope of today's discussions. And I wanted to start my story with a funny moment about how I discovered the Rubik Hub. So one day I was scrolling through LinkedIn, checking out some startup events, and I noticed that a guy named Robert, I don't know if you met him, but he's from Rubik Hub, like one of those events. And I was curious, who is this guy? So I clicked on his LinkedIn profile, and that's how I discovered the Rubik Hub accelerator. And there was one question into my head. So the question was, how can someone build such an ecosystem as Rubik Hub in Piatra Neamț, in Romania? Piatra Neamț, it's not a big city in Romania, and I didn't know about it. I didn't know about the scale up, the accelerator. I know the city, but I didn't know that this is happening there. And the question is, okay, how they build it there, and who are these people? So naturally, I started to make my research, and I look into what they were doing. And so they had an open call for their Scale to USA program. And I felt that I was very connected to their mindset, to scaling businesses, and so on. And I decided to apply. And luckily, they loved our idea because they are cooking at home. And they accept us into the program. So the program was like, we started in Piatra Neamț on their office in 3 days, where there I finally met the Rubik Hub team and started working through their methodology. The program was, of course, with a lot of valuable insights. But one thing I really loved was how they structured all the information and forced us to create a pitch in 3 minutes. This was the main challenge. As you can see, I am speaking a lot. And for me, it was a big problem to structure and highlight all the information in a 3 minute pitch. So they really help us in this direction, and it was, I guess, it was for me it was a big plus. Then in February we moved in USA for 2 weeks because the program was scaled to USA. We were in San Francisco and in Austin 1 week and 1 week. And we had 3 pitches days there, and we discovered different business cultures in both cities. Like we visited big name places like Plug and Play Accelerator, International Accelerator, one of the biggest universities in the US, like Stanford University, and I have a big aha there, and I will tell you about, and several, of course, several venture capital firms. It was a very nice experience for me. But after all this, how to say, I wanted to put the 2 takeaways that I had from this experience with Rubik Hub. And right now I have 2 big takeaways. One is, how to say, it's people. Decisions and attitude matter most. So first I realized that people, decisions, and attitude are the most important factor in any business. But let me explain you why. I wanted to understand how these people from Rubik Hub managed to create and sustain an ecosystem and even take 14 startups from Romania, from Piatra Neamț, to the USA. Their story itself was more powerful than any business lesson. They proved to me that if you have the right team, even Everest is just a mountain. I don't know if you feel my feelings, but this was the first takeaway that I had from this experience. And the second one, it's the environment. So it's people and environment. Why the environment? When we visited Stanford University, I finally understood what it means to scale up in the right ecosystem. At Stanford, teachers and students work side by side to create startups. They have access to resources, connections, and opportunities. So that unique environment is what makes scaling possible. And it matters a lot to me because I'm seeing right now the opportunities that I have in a different type of environments and how can I apply it to my business. So for me, after this incredible journey, 2 things resonated deeply. It was people and environment. Besides all the coaches and all the programs that we have, like we discussed a lot in the program about how to scale legal stuff in the USA, how is the marketing approach, what is the perfect product fit, and so on. Everyone is doing that. But beside that, these 2 was the most important things that I experienced with this with Rubik Hub Accelerator.
Sounds very nice. Yeah. So you start with the presentation. So I mean, it's open floor. If there is someone question or
please.
I see how is proud guys from the Rubicon. They are constantly laughing as well.
We are proud of all of them, actually.
Yeah, of course. But I'm just noticed this momentum. Well, thank you for sharing emotion. It's a very important, I think, when people believe in something what they are doing, and it's it is very very important in all this process. And of course, you need to understand what does it mean ecosystem and people who are supporting you. And of course, I understand how it's difficult to managing all these things. It's something that we are suffering in Montenegro, even if we have as a accelerator, we have makerspace, we have co-working space, we have event center, we have our own products, people, and something like that. But to working on long term with we have research team, Andre running all those things and everything, but long term support and providing opportunity a little bit out of Montenegro. It's something that we are facing as a challenge, and this is not easy. And when you are focusing only on the project, you lose that kind of energy to working with people. But yeah, different environment, different opportunity, and I was exciting when I heard all this opportunity that exists now in Romania. It's very, very nice. So some question or to finalize today training.
If you have any questions related to what can I cook for my dinner, please download our FoodFix app.
I will do for sure. Not for the dinner, but definitely I want to explore like many of those. I don't know. I have short period of time to prepare. Let's say, this mental. I don't know, just running this workshop afternoon, but I have opportunity few of the concept to explore, not too much some of them because I'm not a space industry guy. With
Andre, you had a question?
I just want to make a comment because we're closing and it's very interesting the way you presented it. Igor said it, like you shared a lot of things with us. The way you explain your work, it's like really nice. It's really natural. And you made me think a lot what I eat, how I eat, and what can be done. So I think your application is an infinite space for progress, and you can add so many things to it. So I find it very interesting. It's not easy to explain. When you started talking, I didn't know how you're going to conclude, but you made me convinced. You made me think, I could improve the way I make food. I can improve the way I shape up recipes. And I even searched for your app. So you are very convincing, I can say. So well done to you. And maybe the guys helped you become so expressive and everything in the Rubik Cup. So well done.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a teamwork.
Cool.
I want to thank you, of course, everyone who contributed that we make today excellent program. I think was very, very interesting for me personally, and keep my attention whole day. Sometimes it's difficult with camera because I like to scratching to do something, not to be fully and professional. Like I don't know, I stay at home because I have some knee problem, but I'm solving. But I'm find comfortable, position to leading afternoon session and to help Andre in the morning. But it was very nice. Thank you very much for all of you. Andre, conclude.
No, just share your opinion, and it was great. And I hope we can actually meet beyond this project.
Yeah, of course, they will be very
workshops,
nice to find
events to actually help us with maybe our accelerator that we can build up here. So in Montenegro.
Yeah. All the best, and thank you very much for your time. Thank you for sharing the knowledge and experience and all these things. I'm very happy how I spend my day today. All the best.
Thanks to everyone who gathered these people. Stefan as well. Stefan, you helped us a lot with a lot of content, and thanks to the Romanian partners also for bringing everyone here. So thanks to the organizers from the project.
Thank you.
Ciao. Enjoy.
My pleasure.
Thank
you guys. It was a really great day. Take care.
Bye-bye.